Hey all, Jedi Fuka. In today's video we're talking about the ancient battlefield. So we're just going to jump right in here, going to explain the mechanics a little bit, and we're going to get going. Your main things is that you need someone who can take off the buffs from the boss. So we're going to be using Dane for that. So anyone who does some dispels is going to help you out. You need some healers and some DPS, of course. Whoever your furthest champion away is going to need some resistance so we can do backfire on the boss, as you're going to see as we get into that. Guys, don't forget to use some food if you need it. I need some defense because we're using Dane at level 70 here. So we're going to get into this and let it run. This little first part, we can kind of go auto because they pretty much hit where we need them to. The way the backfire works is whenever the boss uses this move, it's going to hit the furthest away champion. If you have resistance, it's going to put this backfire on the boss. If not, your champion's going to get stunned. So in the second half section, we want Dane to remove that decrease attack. And then we want to come in and just hit the boss. The boss has two phases. First phase, shield up. Second phase, sword. When shield is up, you don't want to be hitting the boss, so we're going to take them off auto during that time. That's when you want to do just your healing. If you can keep a decrease attack up, that's probably helps out through the battle. I think decrease defense is best, but we don't really get that in this game, so here we are. When he gets into the second half, he's going to drop the shield, have a sword up. And then what we're going to want to do is remove all buffs with Dane. And then nuke him down just like you saw there. And keep your heals going. This guy hits pretty hard. So you'll see when he gets there. Boom. Take it off. And this is just kind of the cycle of this boss. So your main things for this boss, remember, furthest person away resistance. And someone to remove that increased attack. Make sure you guys use food if you have it. When I use that increased defense food, I beat this 100%. When I don't use that increased defense, I'm like a 50-50. So the food makes a massive difference in this game. Alright, so as you'll see, we didn't get Oster off before the shield went up, so I don't want to use my attack. Now right here, this is why it's important to have someone who can remove multiple buffs, because eventually you'll get to where he has both increased attack and defense. And then what we need is, we have Dane to come in here, take that out, and then everyone else to come in and nuke the boss down. Now a few ways to avoid those increased attack and defense is either to remove the buffs, or if you have a champion who can put the thing on him that keeps him from being able to get buffs, like Foresh, those are also good champions to keep in here. For you guys who didn't play in Season 0, don't get discouraged if you're not getting this far. Remember that as Season 0 players, we were able to save up tons of dice, so we got good champions for this stuff. That's why we're getting a lot further, and on top of that, we started just a little bit sooner. If you watch some of my videos from Season 0, you'll see I definitely know your struggle, because I didn't pull gold dice at all during Season 0, and it made the game really hard. So I really appreciate what it's like to be able to be free to play, because you got to really play with your champions and get to know them in order for things to work out for you. So there we have it. That's how we took the boss down. Now real quick reviews so you guys kind of understand what's going on, because that did go a little bit fast. Let's jump back in here. My team is set up in a weird formation. You got to play around with your formation to see what works for you. If you have Furbath, I recommend this one. The reason why is with Furbath here and my melee here, he's going to run up, melee unit's going to run around, and everyone's going to be in the perfect position to get heals from Furbath here. Now Furbath, I like this life spindle. This helps with the battle skill healing, and Furbath's heal is off of his battle skill, so that increases his healing a ton. Whoever your tank is going to be, you're going to need a lot of HP defense. I use the defense food because without it, Furbath dies. I just don't have enough defense on him to survive without it. Horus would be a great role for this. You just have to rearrange your champions for it. Whoever's going to be in Dane's place, you need that dispelling buffs. Just remember, At some points, the boss does have 2 buffs, so if you have one of those rares that's only dispelling 1 buff, it's still gonna be a little bit of a struggle for you. And then your furthest person away, I don't really know for sure what the resistance is. This is overkill, but I got a resistance chest that went up to 120, so that's why his resistance is so high, and it works, so you get that backfire on the boss. Ripika's here. He's just more of a utility champion. I really like using him. I'm using him for this defense break, so he can kill the boss, and defense penalty, so he can kill the boss a lot faster. And then he just got good utility with landing all these random buffs. Every now and then that buff prohibition, which is the move I was talking about earlier, can keep the increased defense and increased attack from coming up. So if you have champions like Vorish who can lay that, you can remove Dane from your team and just utilize that to keep the buffs from ever coming up in the first place. And that ultimate down, if you have champions who do ultimate down and you have like an extra spot you need to put someone in, you don't know who to use, ultimate down champions are good. Personally, I would recommend, especially if you don't have Ripicus, do another DPS unit so you can kill the boss faster, especially if you're like me. If you're going to leave your DPS in the back with the higher resistance, another DPS will help because he's going to have to take a hit to his attack or crit depending on how you build them. But anyways, guys, that's the run from my account here. I know that a lot of you guys don't have these champions. It's going to take some time to get there. Don't get discouraged. Just farm where you can. As the season goes on, you're going to get a little bit better. Like I've said in some of the other videos, when I was in season 0, like it was a really long time before I hit this point in the game. You'll see in the little Clepsydra trial here, it's 12 days until this forge comes out. I mean, when I hit that forge last time, I was farming all epics and mostly everything except for Venom, where I was at stage 7. It wasn't until after this release that I started getting most of my legendary gear. So it took me a long time to actually get to that point when I was in season 0, not pulling any gold dice at all and having no legendaries. So don't get too discouraged. Just play around with the champions you have. A lot of the epics and rares are really fun to use. You just got to kind of experiment with them and see what you like while you build up your teams. And then just save up your gold dice and start pulling those champions. That's what it's all about, right? Pulling some champions and having fun. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. Y'all have a good one.